Hello everybody, this is Gusto and I have another review today. Today's review will be a quick one, just have one item to review. And to provide a little bit of a disclaimer, I was contacted by one of the advertising representatives of Oregon Freeze Dry, the makers of Mountain House, and also the supplier of all of the U.S. military freeze-dried rations. So all of the meal cold weather, all of the long-range patrol rations that are produced are made by Mountain House. Now before, there was also Right Away Foods that provided some of the freeze-dried rations, and then that was transitioned to Oregon Freeze-Dried, which now make all of the modern freeze-dried rations for the military. So you can see some of the freeze-dried fruit pieces in some of the old MREs from the 80s, also some of the freeze-dried pork patties, beef patties. Those were also made by Oregon Freeze-Dried, dating that far back. Some of the original long-range patrol rations and the canvas bags, and then some of the late 70s long-range patrol rations. You'll find some of the Right Away Foods items in there as well as some of the ration cold weathers from the 90s actually still had Right Away Foods prepared. But anything modern, made by Oregon Freeze-Dried, and that's the maker of Mountain House. I have no obligation, contractual or monetary or otherwise, with Oregon Freeze-Dried. They just offered to send me a free item and asked me to review it on the channel, give honest feedback. I have no obligation to say nice things or good things. If I think it's garbage, I can say it's garbage. But anyway, I've used Mountain House before. It's good stuff, and I don't expect this to be any different. So this is the item, and this is what you'll typically find, this cube, very dense cube of freeze-dried food, and you'll find it in the long-range patrol rations and the meal cold weathers. As far as civilian items, Mountain House, the Pro Pack is kind of vacuum sealed like that, and then the regular Mountain House stuff is in a big envelope. So in this you'll get 136 grams as compared to the Pro Pack, which is 115, and then the big bag, which is multi-servings, 173 grams. So pretty decent size entree there. This one is the chili macaroni with beef. So this package, like I said, this is the same package that you'll get in the long-range patrol rations and the meal cold weathers. Very compact, very dense vacuum sealing, and you'll notice that it has a tear notch, and you can run into trouble like I did on the Western eggs with ham meal cold weather that I reviewed some time back. If you pull it down too vigorously, you're going to split the whole pack and you can't prepare it. So that's that can be disastrous. So I just use a knife, cut it across that, and you have a big pouch to work with. So let's get this thing cut open. So good seal there. Open the bag up, and there's the appearance of the food in there. You can see some macaroni and some beans and the chili in there as well. So this calls for 16 ounces of hot water, and then you let it sit for about 10 minutes. And usually with these, you should add a little bit less water than it calls for, otherwise it could be kind of soupy. Make sure you mix all the way down in the corners, because you can get some hard, dry chunks if you don't. Maybe just a little bit more. That should do. So set that aside for a few minutes and let it do its thing. So while that's heating up, I did want to restate that disclaimer that they sent this to me free, but I have no other obligation to Mountain House. That being said, I have purchased this for my own use, and I've used it many times, camping, etc. And it's always been very high quality food, very good flavor, and really convenient, especially the vacuum sealed Pro Packs. They're easy to pack. They don't take up a ton of space. There are some companies that send offers on YouTube They want you to provide a commercial, basically, a positive review. They want you to say certain things. They want you to display their product a certain way, and I have no interest in that. That's not what this is for. I don't do this for money. I don't monetize my page. I don't do anything like that at this point. So this is all just kind of a fun adventure for me. So I have no interest in forming obligations with companies or anything like that. So if you're thinking, oh, Gusto's sold out, no, that's not the case. They just sent me some free food, so I said I'd review it. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes as called for on this, and we'll get it out on the tray. Let's take a look in the bag, give it a smell. Smells like chili, which is pretty good. So if you look at the ingredients, you're going to see a lot of actual food ingredients and not a whole bunch of chemical preservatives. You will see a lot of flavorings and things like that, artificial colors, that kind of stuff, but you're not going to see a ton of chemical preservatives because the preservation, of course, is in the freeze drying. So here's what we got. Seems to have reconstituted pretty well. That's a lot of food, actually. It really provides a whole lot. And actually, like I said, that was 136 grams. So if you look at the 115 in the beef stew, and that's 2.5 servings. Of course, the military requirements for nutrition are a lot higher than the everyday backpacker. They need a lot more caloric intake, protein, and all that stuff. Let's get a close up real quick. Alright, so you can look at the texture there. You can see the ground beef, this chili sauce, and then a lot of noodles. Got some beans in there. So that looks pretty good. It's got a nice chili scent to it. Looks pretty tasty. Okay, so let's give it a taste. Again, this is the only item that I've got. Try to get some beans and a bunch of noodles in there. So there it is up close. So right out of the package, you know, it smells great. It's actually a little bland. I kind of expected it to be a little saltier, maybe a little spicier. It's really not. Luckily, I do have some Tabasco that I can add to that. But I will say that it doesn't have an extremely strong, overwhelming chili powder flavor to it, kind of like the taco pasta had. It's actually a fairly muted chili flavor, if anything. So I'm going to add some salt. I've got an extra salt out of an accessory pack, and then I've got a Tabasco out of an accessory pack that I'll add to that, and I think that'll make a big difference. A little salt. You know me, I like spicy food, all the Tabasco. Give it a mix. Let's see if that made a difference. Oh yeah, that's way better. It needs to be hotter. I like really spicy food. That actually is really good now. So just a little bit of salt, and then that whole packet of Tabasco, and that made it very, very good. So my overall impressions of this, I really enjoy the freeze-dried rations, and this was no exception. If you go to Mountain House, every year they'll have overruns from their military production cycle, so you can actually get all of these packs from Mountain House as they close out that year's production. You just kind of have to watch their website to find out when that is. I think I got this one in, I think it was June, and I think they still had some available in June. So if you check, you know, maybe April, May, you should be able to get your hands on some of these military ration overruns on their freeze-dried rations. So my review of the chili with macaroni, pretty good. Everything reconstitutes well. It actually tastes fairly fresh. Like I said, it was a little bit bland just straight out of the package, but Tabasco made it a lot better. A little bit of salt, and I assume those would probably come in an accessory pack for any of those LRPs or MCWs. So that's all I've got today. Thanks for joining me, and as always, thanks to all of the YouTube audience, all of the ration review community for your support. I really appreciate it, and I can't thank you enough. So please stay tuned. Until next time, thanks again. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.